Here's something nobody tells you about the Crusades. The part everyone knows: Christians marching to reclaim Jerusalem, holy wars, God wills it, all of that. Fine. But there's a chapter buried inside that story that is so spectacularly stupid, so breathtakingly disloyal, that historians still argue about whether to call it a betrayal or just the world's most catastrophic wrong turn. In 1202, Pope Innocent III, and yes, the irony of that name is going to become very obvious very quickly, called for a new crusade, the fourth one. The plan was simple: raise an army, sail to Egypt, use Egypt as a base to retake Jerusalem. Clean, direct, logical. So they hired Venice to build the ships. And this is where everything starts going wrong, in ways that should have been obvious to anyone paying attention. The Crusaders promised Venice 85,000 silver marks for transport. 85,000. They showed up with 51,000. Now imagine hiring a moving company, promising to pay them in full, showing up with 60% of the money, and expecting them to still move all your stuff across the Mediterranean. Venice said, "Not happening." But Venice, specifically the Doge, a man named Enrico Dandolo, who was approximately 94 years old and nearly completely blind, and somehow still the most dangerous man in the room, had a counteroffer. "You can't pay us? Fine, work it off. There's a city called Zara on the Adriatic coast. Used to belong to us. Belongs to Hungary now. Go take it back, and we'll call it even." Small detail, Zara was a Christian city. Hungary was a Christian kingdom. The Pope had literally just told everyone not to attack fellow Christians. They attacked Zara anyway. The Pope excommunicated the entire Crusader army. The whole thing. Every single one of them collectively fired from Christianity before they had even reached the Holy Land. And it gets worse from there, obviously. So you've got an army of Crusaders, freshly excommunicated, sitting in a city they just sacked, for a 94-year-old blind Venetian businessman wondering what to do next. Then, a Byzantine prince shows up. His name is Alexios, and he has a proposition. His father, the legitimate emperor of Byzantium, got overthrown by his own brother, Alexios' uncle, which is the kind of family drama that makes your worst Thanksgiving look like a spa weekend. Alexios had escaped and was now shopping around Europe for anyone willing to help him take his throne back. His pitch to the Crusaders went roughly like this: "Help me retake Constantinople. In return, I'll reunify the Eastern and Western churches, pay you 200,000 silver marks, supply your army for a year, and send 10,000 Byzantine soldiers with you to the Holy Land." Historians are divided on whether Alexios actually believed he could deliver all of this. Most lean toward absolutely not. The Crusaders said yes, because of course they did. They were broke, excommunicated, and had literally nothing else on the schedule. So now, the army that was supposed to liberate Jerusalem is sailing toward Constantinople, which is a Christian city, the capital of a Christian empire, run by a Christian emperor, to invade it on behalf of a different Christian. For money. The Pope wrote them letters, strongly worded letters, the medieval equivalent of a corporate HR email that says, "This is your final warning." They ignored the letters. They showed up outside Constantinople in the summer of 1203, and honestly, the sheer audacity of it briefly worked. The usurper emperor panicked and fled. Alexios' father was restored to the throne. Alexios became co-emperor. Everything seemed like it was going to somehow be fine. And then, Alexios started trying to actually pay his debts. He taxed the population. He melted down church treasures for coin. The people of Constantinople, who had not signed up for any of this, started getting very annoyed. Understatement of the century, by the way. By January of 1204, the Byzantine population had enough. They rioted. They threw Alexios out. New emperor, different guy. And the new guy had absolutely zero interest in honoring the promises the old guy made to a bunch of excommunicated European soldiers camped outside his walls. The Crusaders were now broke, excommunicated, abandoned, and furious. Here's where the jokes stop, because what happened next is not funny. It is one of the most significant acts of destruction in medieval history, and it shaped the next 250 years of conflict in ways that are still visible today. In April of 1204, the Crusaders breached the walls of Constantinople. And they didn't just win, they sacked it. For 3 days. To understand what was lost, you have to understand what Constantinople was. This was not just a capital city. It was the largest, wealthiest, most culturally rich city in the Christian world. For 8 centuries, it had preserved Roman law, Greek philosophy, and centuries of art, literature, and architecture that existed nowhere else. Libraries, manuscripts, statues cast in bronze that had survived since ancient Greece. Relics, treasuries, the accumulated material history of 2 civilizations. The Crusaders melted it, burned it, looted it, divided it among themselves. Enrico Dandolo, the blind 94-year-old Venetian, personally directed the looting of the Hagia Sophia, one of the most sacred buildings in the Christian world, and shipped its treasures back to Venice. Some of those objects are still in Venice today. The Pope was horrified. The same Pope who had called this crusade, who had watched it get sidetracked into attacking a Christian city for a Venetian businessman who had excommunicated the entire army, now had to confront the fact that his holy war had ended with the destruction of the greatest Christian city on earth. He called it a scandal. The word he used in his letters was scandalum, and he wasn't wrong. But here's the consequence that echoes longest. The Byzantine Empire never fully recovered. What rose from the ruins in 1261 was smaller, poorer, and permanently weakened. When the Ottomans began their advance 2 centuries later, Byzantium had no real capacity to resist. The walls that had held for 1,000 years finally fell in 1453. And the argument can be made that they fell not because of the Ottomans, but because of what the Crusaders did in 1204. The Fourth Crusade never reached Jerusalem, not even close. It ended in Constantinople, with Christians destroying the greatest Christian city in the world for money, because a blind 94-year-old told them to. So where does all of this leave us? The Fourth Crusade gets written off in history as a disaster, a diversion, an accident. Historians argue endlessly about who's really to blame. The Crusaders, Venice, Alexios and his impossible promises, the Pope who couldn't control the army he summoned. The honest answer is everyone. Blame is distributed so evenly across so many bad decisions that it stops being one man's catastrophe and becomes a collective masterclass in how not to run a military operation. What's remarkable is that people kept going. The Crusades continued after this. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th Crusade. Increasingly desperate, increasingly pointless. Jerusalem was retaken, lost, negotiated over, fought over for another century. None of it worked. All of it cost enormous amounts of money and lives. The legacy of 1204 is strange and sad and complicated. Venice got rich, really rich. The treasures of Constantinople funded Venetian power for generations. The bronze horses you can see today at St. Mark's Basilica in Venice, the famous 4 horses above the entrance, were taken from Constantinople's hippodrome during the sack. They've been in Venice for 800 years. Byzantine survivors tried to rebuild in exile. They came back. They restored the empire. But it was never the same, and everyone knew it. If you made it this far without flinching, hit subscribe. We're decoding a new empire every week, and it only gets more chaotic from here. The extended version with the parts that got cut for time is on the membership tier right now, and the link for today's sponsor is in the description. Next time, we're staying in the medieval world but moving north, to a war that lasted so long the people who started it were dead before it ended. Their grandchildren were dead before it ended, and it somehow still kept going. You might know it by the number. We'll see you there.